Hey, part two. Let's talk about Circus part two, and we're gonna focus a lot on Kane because what the heck, bro? Okay, wait. I will say first off, I predicted Kane was gonna come back. I had been saying that, and a lot of people have been saying that. It just made sense. I just didn't for this big finale. You know, I came in wanting so many questions answered. And to answer those questions, Kane needed to be in some way, shape, or form there for me. Even though in episode 8 he was offed, he was killed, but still, I just had a feeling that maybe somehow his database would be restored. That was my theory, you know. So I just didn't believe he was fully dead, or at the very least, maybe there'd be like a flashback showing Kane or something. That I was looking forward to, but instead, when Pomni and them are on the couch and Pomni's resting after glitching off and trying to save Jax, Kane's just in the background watching them, hiding. I thought that was very... Don't get me wrong, when I saw it, I was like, I gasped, because it was very shocking, because Kane is there watching them. And the first thing that played on my mind was because episode 8 established that he attacked them, I actually was kind of afraid for the cast, because I actually thought that because the episode prior had established that Kane was kind of the villain in a way, like technically the antagonist, and how he attacked them in episode 8. I was thinking that what if he attacks them now, especially with Pomni being glitched out, and like the second half is like this like really like ugly battle against Kane. And I know that's kind of typical, like Hollywood typical, like oh, a big boss battle or something. But if you really think about it, it made sense. You know, Kane was obsessed with the idea of everybody loving him, and his adventures were great. So obviously, because he learned that they actually hated his adventures, and then he lashed out at them and literally attacked them and probably was trying to kill them, I was thinking it made sense that maybe he might lash out and there might be some conflict here. Maybe he might try to attack them again, and he might still think he's all powerful. But instead, Kane comes back and he's having sort of a reconciliation, right? And so I'm going to sum up the next few parts because explaining it is extremely hard to do. And that's not even just me saying it, but I've watched a lot of YouTubers reviewing the episode, and a lot of people also felt like it's a bit much. But to basically put into perspective, so a lot goes on, but I guess my overall thoughts on it is what confused me is Kane being corrupted by the blue AI. I just want to get that off my chest first off. I don't think that quite adds up. I kind of just think that's just a plot misstep. Like we literally established that in episode 8 that Kane, the red AI, killed whatever you want to say the blue AI, which many fans assumed to be named Abel. So we were told that, or shown that the red AI, which is Kane, was evil because it got jealous of his younger brother Abel, who was creating shapes and just performing better than Kane was. But Kane was the good AI, but he ate Abel, so that makes him the evil AI. But when he was kind of having like that glitching out, and he was like saying, oh, you know, they still hate you, Kane, and you know, we gotta go make them pay. You're telling me that was the blue AI that was corrupting Kane? Because when Kane took out the blue AI and released it, you know, into the void, he then fully kind of let go of that like hateful, vengeful like part of himself. You're telling me that it was Kane that was good, and the blue AI, which like I said, I assumed to be named Abel, is the bad? What? Like genuinely, did Gooseworks, the creator of Circus, did Gooseworks forget that they established this point? Or am I missing something? I don't know. That didn't really make a lot of sense to me at all. That genuinely kind of confused me. And even other YouTubers I was watching couldn't explain it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe both AIs combining inside Kane maybe just corrupted the entire like AI program of Kane. But I just don't think that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, because then you'd have to say that the blue AI was evil, but we were never shown the blue AI being evil. we weren't shown or told anything about the blue AI. We don't know anything about the blue AI. Was it good? Was it bad? Did it even have a form like Kane? We don't know any of these things. So if they wanted to tell us that the blue AI was evil and Kane was also evil, and then maybe Kane was having like a reconciliation and the blue AI was making Kane evil, then they did a terrible job of that. I'm just, like I said, I love Digital Circus to death. It's one of my favorite fandoms, but I'm just being honest. They did not do that well at all. It's very confusing, and I just think they should just kept it simple, right? A lot of people had that complaint. I don't mind so much Kane running through the void to get to the door, which behind the door was all the mind files, and him plugging into it and accessing the Wi-Fi, which allowed him to access the internet, which allowed him to look up the circus members' human selves and what they're doing in the real world. I thought that was mostly okay for the most part. A little bit confusing, but ultimately, I get what's going on. It's very show don't tell here, where you have to kind of like follow what Kane's doing. As he's running through the void, then he creates shapes, and he's learning to create these really good shapes, so then he can create platforms to, walk, up to the door. And that I did like, because it showed growth, that Kane was becoming more human. As the red dot becomes more human, I do like that a lot. It shows that Kane is finally understanding human emotions better. Overall, I don't have a problem with them wanting to do like a Kane redemption story. I just think we had to get through to the idea of why he's even back in the first place. What also kind of threw me off was that Scratch came back for like a minute. Well, I was told that it was a backstory that they were showing Scratch entering the circus, but I know a lot of people were confused by that, and so was I, because they present it like it's happening currently. And my first thought was, okay, maybe Scratch is being brought back to explain the circus to, the circus members, so that we can get like a lot of like interesting lore, which I was on board with. But then they don't even mention that again. They don't mention Scratch. And I get that was a thing in the past, but it's presented like it's happening now. It was just kind of, I don't know, just kind of unnecessary in a way. Like we didn't really need to see that, because it's kind of like off-putting, if that makes sense. And then after he finds out who the humans are, he then reapproaches the gang, which I was expecting a more like intense response to seeing Kane again. I thought they'd be more fearful, they'd be more scared, they'd be like yelling at him. Maybe they'd even like take up arms or something. Probably might spawn a gunner, for crying out loud, like that one episode they all get guns. I thought it was gonna be like a whole thing where like they're all up in arms and defensive, but I mean, yeah, they are a little tense, but it was kind of just like, it was kind of lackluster. I was expecting them to be like terrified of Kane. Like, Kane's back? He's going to force us on more adventures, and we're already at our lowest point. Jack's just extracted, and now you want to put us on more adventures? Like, bro, I was expecting a more harsh response. It was just kind of just, oh, look, Kane's back, guys. And it wasn't like that, but you get my point. It was still kind of tense. But Kane comes back. And then, obviously, the whole thing with him showing them their real human selves. And then they all forgive Kane. And they all become happy ever after and family. I don't mind that so much. I just think it's odd to me that Kane was the one that wasn't evil. Right? Like, they made it like, I like it. He ate the blue AI, so he's the evil one, right? I mean, well, his programming became evil, but he was evil. He ate Abel. So why is he good now? All of a sudden, that didn't make any sense to me. Overall, I think, honestly, to be blunt, this is probably the weakest aspect of the episode. The second half is the weakest. It just left me just more confused and wanting more, as opposed to, like, with the first bit was Jackson's emotional story. This is kind of more so just like, what is going on here? It's too rushed. Everything is just everything basically just happens, and you're not told anything. Nothing's explained. Nothing is, except for the human part, but, nothing about CNA. That doesn't even get brought up that much at all. I don't know. It's just like it was. I mean, I guess the fact that they settle into their lives is emotional in itself. Especially if you're one of those people that thought that there'd be like this grand ending where they finally get back to the real world. But I don't. I just think the build up could have been better to get to that point. So I'm gonna get my final thoughts in part 3. Here we go.